When a crown becomes more precious than honor, terrible things happen. One tiara cost a princess everything: her reputation, dignity, and family respect. What does this story hide? What awful price did the princess pay for her choice? Why does royal shame last for decades? The truth is so shocking they're afraid to speak it aloud. This tiara destroyed more than you can imagine. Watch until the end. That's where the most terrifying part is. £926,400 sterling. That's the astronomical sum this mysterious tiara from the British royal family sold for at auction. But what happened next? Complete silence. 19 years ago, this precious jewel vanished without a trace, as if it disappeared into thin air after the Christie's auction. On August 21st, 2025, Princess Margaret would have turned 95, the woman who transformed this tiara into a true legend. Born in 1930, she spent over 5 decades as one of the leading members of the royal family. Among all her jewels, the Poltimore tiara became the most famous and mysterious. Picture this: a crown that transforms into a necklace or splits into 11 separate brooches. Sounds like something from a fairy tale. But to understand why this crown was worth a fortune and why its disappearance stirred the entire jewelry world, we need to go back to the Victorian era. 1870. London is shrouded in industrial smoke, but in the workshops of Garrod jewelers, different work is brewing. A work of art is being born. The second Baroness Poltimore orders something special for her husband, the second Baron Poltimore. The craftsmen begin creating a tiara that decades later would become a British princess's calling card. What makes this crown so unique? Its design amazes even today. Graduated lines of cushion-cut and old-cut diamond clusters alternate with exquisite scrolls in diamond settings. Each element is crowned with old-cut diamonds, and this entire magnificence rests on a line of diamonds in collet settings. But the real magic lies in its transformation. The tiara's maximum diameter measures 19.2 centimeters, but it can completely change its appearance. Using a special screwdriver and unique fittings, the crown transforms into an elegant necklace or breaks apart into 11 independent brooches. Silver and gold, skillfully intertwined by master craftsmen, create a setting that will withstand the test of time. This amazing transformation ability would make the tiara legendary, but first it had to pass through the most ceremonial moments in British history. Westminster Abbey, 1911. The coronation of King George V and Queen Mary, an event that would enter history not only as a celebration of a new era, but as the Poltimore tiara's debut on the royal stage. The third Baroness Poltimore appears in the Abbey, crowned with the sparkling masterpiece. Photos from this moment are often mistakenly attributed to the second Baroness at King Edward VII's coronation in 1902, but history sets everything straight. 42 years passed, and the tiara finds itself once again at the center of coronation festivities. 1953, Queen Elizabeth II's coronation. This time, Lady Stackley, daughter of the 4th Baron Poltimore, wears the Poltimore tiara during the gala performance at Covent Garden following the coronation ceremony. 2 generations, 2 coronations, 1 tiara, but ahead lay its meeting with someone who would make it truly famous. Fate was preparing the tiara for a new owner who would transform the Victorian treasure into a symbol of modern royal elegance. January 1959. London's auction halls buzz with anticipation. An extremely valuable tiara belonging to the Honourable Lord Poltimore, 4th Baron Poltimore, goes up for bidding. The auctioneer's hammer beats out the rhythm, the price climbs, and ultimately the crown sells for £5,500 sterling, an impressive sum for those times. But who is the mysterious buyer? Princess Margaret acts on Baron Plunkett's advice, and this decision would change the fate of both the tiara and the princess herself. the Victorian masterpiece finds a new home in the royal palace. Already in May 1959, Princess Margaret first displays her new crown to the public. The debut location, a gala performance during Iran's state visit to Great Britain. The Poltimore tiara instantly captures everyone's attention. Its brilliance under the chandelier lights, the exquisite work of past centuries' masters, and the elegance of its new owner create an unforgettable impression. But Margaret immediately understands her acquisition's versatility. Already in June of that same year, during a visit to Portugal, she experiments with transformation, wearing Poltimore elements as necklace and brooches combined with the lotus flower tiara. In July at a London gala performance, she again demonstrates this amazing ability of the tiara to transform. 1960 becomes a turning point in Princess Margaret's life and her precious tiara's story. The announcement of her engagement to Anthony Armstrong Jones, an event that stirred all of Britain. And it's precisely the Poltimore necklace that adorns the princess at the Covent Garden Gala performance immediately after this announcement, as if the crown blesses the future marriage with its radiance. France's state visit to Great Britain that same year provides another opportunity to demonstrate the tiara's versatility. Princess Margaret again chooses it for the ceremonial gala performance, emphasizing this ornament's special significance in her life. And then comes the day that will enter history as a triumph for both tiara and owner. Princess Margaret's wedding to Anthony Armstrong Jones at Westminster Abbey, an event the whole world watches. The luxurious dress by Norman Hartnell creates the perfect frame for the sparkling Poltimore crown. Photos from this day circle the globe, and the tiara becomes a symbol of the 60s royal wedding. But the celebrations don't end there. That same year, Princess Margaret wears the Poltimore tiara to the wedding ball of King Baudouin and Doña Fabiola de Mora y Aragon at the Royal Palace in Brussels. Two royal courts, two cultures, one shining crown. Poltimore begins its journey across Europe. After the wedding's triumph, the tiara becomes the princess's true calling card, with decades of worldwide travels ahead. The 60s, 70s, 80s, 3 decades during which the Poltimore tiara becomes Princess Margaret's constant companion in her royal duties. Every state visit, every ceremonial event, a new opportunity for the Victorian masterpiece to shine under spotlights. 1963, state visit to Belgium. The tiara again crosses the English Channel, recalling its European debut. A year later, Denmark opens its royal doors to the British princess and her sparkling crown. 1965. America first sees the Poltimore tiara, and the new world surrenders to its ancient charm. But 1962 becomes especially memorable when Lord Snowdon creates one of the most intimate and unexpected photographs in royal family history. Princess Margaret in the Poltimore tiara while bathing, a shot that shocks some and delights others, but definitely enters photography history. 1971 brings New Horizons, a state visit to Japan. Eastern culture meets British traditions, and the Poltimore tiara becomes a bridge between civilizations. 4 years later, Sweden, 2 years after that, Silver Jubilee celebrations at Covent Garden in 1977. The 80s don't slow the pace of royal travels. Philippines in 1980, Oman in 1982, then Holland that same year, America again, and finally Spain in 1986. Each country, each culture leaves its mark on the tiara's history. Princess Margaret doesn't limit herself to only the complete tiara. She masterfully uses all transformation possibilities. Poltimore necklace and brooches appear at the Nepal Embassy banquet in 1960, at Jamaica Independence Day celebrations in 1962, during the state visit to Italy in 1969. Particularly memorable is Lord Glenconner's 60th birthday celebration on Moustique Island in 1986, where Princess Margaret creates a unique composition from Baltimore tiara elements and the fleur-de-lis diamond brooch as a headdress. Creativity and traditions merge in one image. But even the strongest royal traditions have their limits, and the 90s would become the final chapter in the Baltimore tiara's story as a royal ornament. The 90s of the 20th century, a time of change for the British royal family, and the final act in the long story of the Baltimore tiara as a symbol of royal dignity. Princess Margaret, faithful to her habits, continues appearing in her beloved tiara at the most important state events. 1991 brings Poland's state visit to Great Britain. This is a special event, the first Polish president's visit in the post-Soviet era, symbolizing new relations between countries. Princess Margaret chooses precisely the Baltimore tiara for this historic moment, emphasizing the event's significance. A year later, Brunei's state visit to Great Britain. The exotic sultanate meets British traditions, and the tiara once again becomes witness to diplomatic history. 1995, Heads of State banquet at Guildhall. This evening becomes one of the tiara's last ceremonial appearances as a royal ornament. State openings of Parliament, ceremonial events. Princess Margaret doesn't change her habits and continues choosing the Baltimore tiara for the most important moments. Each appearance seems to confirm the special bond between owner and her precious jewel. But time is relentless. In February 2002, Princess Margaret leaves this world, leaving behind a rich legacy and a jewelry collection that astounds the imagination. Among all her treasures, the Baltimore tiara holds a special place. It's not just an ornament, but a witness to an era, a travel companion around the world, a symbol of style and elegance. The princess's passing raises a question that would stir the entire jewelry world. What would become of her precious treasures? 2006, London, Christie's auction house. Anticipation hangs in the air. Today, one of the loudest jewelry sales in history takes place. 800 of Princess Margaret's jewels are up for auction, but all attention focuses on one lot, the Baltimore tiara. Experts' preliminary estimate seems modest, from £150,000 to £200,000 sterling. But auctioneers underestimated this crown's magic and historical significance. Bidding begins, and numbers on the board climb at incredible speed. 100,000, 200, 300. The price exceeds initial estimates. 400, 500, 600,000. The hall holds its breath. 700, 800. This is already sensational. And here's the final figure that takes your breath away. £926,400 sterling. The price exceeded the original estimate nearly fivefold. The auctioneer's hammer falls, and the Baltimore tiara passes to a private Asian buyer. No more details. The name isn't revealed. The country remains secret. Purchase motives unknown. The Victorian masterpiece that adorned Princess Margaret for over 40 years disappears behind a veil of anonymity. Christie's auction becomes the second most significant in the auction house's history for jewelry sales. The Baltimore tiara takes honorable second place among all sold lots. But triumph turns into mystery. The precious jewel disappears from public view as quickly as it appeared at auction. 19 years of silence. 19 years during which one of the most famous tiaras of the British royal family remains invisible to the world. Where is the Baltimore crown now? This question continues troubling experts, collectors, and royal history enthusiasts. Theories are born and fade one after another. Perhaps the tiara sits in an Asian millionaire's private collection who prefers admiring it in solitude. Maybe it became part of a museum exhibition in one of the Eastern countries. Or it rests in a bank vault, awaiting its moment. Jewelry art experts theorize that the anonymous buyer could have been from Japan, China, Singapore, or any other Asian country with rich collecting traditions. but all attempts to find the tiara's trail crash against a wall of silence. The Poltimore tiara's significance in British Crown history is hard to overestimate. It wasn't just an ornament, it was an era's symbol, a witness to the 20th century's most important events, the princess's companion in her royal duties. From Victorian elegance to modern grace, from coronation festivities to intimate photographs, this crown passed through all stages of British monarchy development. Today, nearly 2 decades after its disappearance, the Poltimore tiara remains one of the world's most mysterious precious jewels. Its story is about beauty, power, traditions, and secrets. It's a tale of how a Victorian masterpiece became an entire era's symbol and how it dissolved into anonymity's mist in one moment. Will the Poltimore tiara ever appear in public again? Will the mysterious buyer reveal their identity? Will the crown become part of a museum collection or forever remain in private hands? These questions remain unanswered, and the Poltimore tiara continues its existence somewhere in shadow, preserving memories of Princess Margaret and the golden age of the British royal family. The truth turned out far more interesting than shocking speculation. Princess Margaret didn't betray honor, she simply lived her life, and the Poltimore tiara became witness to an entire era. Isn't it amazing how one ornament can tell a story of love, travels, and royal traditions? If these stories fascinate you, give it a heart. Click the bell so you don't miss new secrets of royal treasures. Even more captivating mysteries from the past await us ahead.